thank you very much for coming to Camp Loll this summer and watching our pre-camp video. My name is Jody Orm. I'm the camp director up at Camp Loll. Been there for many years, and I've been on all the hikes that you will be going on when I was in the bloom of youth. Hope you have as much fun going on these adventures as I did.
Hi, I'm Leif Connor. I'll be the program director working with Jody. And I'm really excited to also be able to share with you some information about these hikes and help you prepare for that.
What we have for you today is we'll begin by talking about some general things that apply to all of our hiking groups. Again, arrival, some of the rules, things to bring, that kind of stuff. And then Leif will take over towards the tail end and actually go over specific routes and destinations for each one of the hike groups. So first of all, I want to let you know where you can get even more information if you have questions after we're done here. And of course, if you go to the Crossroads of the West Council website, and we end up showing the links here. If you go there, you'll end up seeing Camp Loll there. If you click on Camp Loll, you can end up going straight to the high adventure trek groups. Has all sorts of information. Here's where you'll go to end up, the bear safety video, obviously the link to actually watch this video, you can see there as well. So here's a great resource in order to end up looking up things that perhaps questions you have. And of course, if that doesn't work for you too, please make sure you contact us. You can see our contact numbers there. My email is there, as well as the office there located in Ogden, Utah. Please reach out if you have any questions along the way. Anxious to make sure that all questions are answered. I want to also let you know how to get to our great adventure. I have here on your left-hand side driving directions from Salt Lake. So you can get a little sense of distance depending on where you're coming from. I also have the map of the actual campsites for the Monday where they end up staying with us. For those groups that are coming great distances, there is an opportunity to come in and check in on Sunday. We'd ask that you'd arrive plan to be there between 2 and 5 o'clock, giving us an opportunity to get you in. You'd need to provide your own dinner and breakfast and lunch for dinner on Sunday, breakfast and lunch on Monday. Please be aware we're in bear country, and also you'd have to be able to store all your food in the parking lot in your vehicle or in a hard-sided trailer, depending what you bring, to make sure we're safe from the bears. But again, also keep in mind that as you're getting close to Camp Loll, there is a dirt road that you'll approach as you're heading in. Remind you to obey the speed limits and go slow and be safe. The road is a fairly good road, but very narrow. So be sure to be very careful. If you come in on Monday, there'll be someone there to greet you to make sure that you make it in safe. And that road is long, and it will let you know how big in the wilderness you already are in. Once you arrive at Loll. Obviously, we're heading out even to bigger woods once you get into Loll, but here's a picture of our beautiful night sky here on Lake of the Woods. So again, the adventure begins even coming into camp. So please, again, on Monday, when you arrive, whether you arrive on Monday or Sunday, please reach out and let me know through that email address if you plan on arriving on Sunday, so we can be prepared for you again between 2 and 5. On Monday, we'll end up unloading your vehicles in the parking lot. We have parking places for one vehicle from each one of our hike groups that are available here in what we call the lower lot. All the other vehicles we would get up to the upper lot. We would ask that the adult leader who's checking in with the group, as soon as you arrive, to bring your physicals, and as the gear is being unloaded, and come right up to our Connor Lodge there to get yourself checked in. If you have desires to do swim checks, again, that's available to you. The camp staff will help you get moved into your campsite, help you to, set up for that day. If you're coming with another troop, some troops like to stay in the same campsite as the troop that is staying there for the whole week. If you're coming, again, just as a high adventure group, we have campsites we'll escort you to and help you get set up. As you're, again, all getting checked in, there is a meeting for you at 4:30. To go over your hike. We'll meet generally with with all groups, and then divide up, have you introduce you to your hiking guide if you haven't met him already, and let you know the routes, some of the same information that Leif will go over. But again, so Monday we have an awful lot in store. If you would like, again, to take your swim check, please make sure you come prepared for that we'll do that before the 4:30 meeting after we've gone over your physicals. Please, again, I'd remind, though I'm sure that doesn't need a reminder, that all individuals leaving, if that's adults and youth, need to have a physical that's A, B, and C that will be good as not less than a year by the time the week is over. So make sure that is all taken care of as you're checking in. We have also on Monday to get you familiar with all the equipment that we have for dinner. We'll actually get you used to all the type of stoves we end up having, the baker chefs, kind of do a little introduction of the bags, the water filters, all that stuff. Of course, if you have any of your own equipment, you're certainly welcome to bring it, but we have the ability to provide water filters, bear canisters for the hikes that have destinations where there's not the ability to hang food at 10 feet and 4 foot. We have the ropes and the bear bagging ability for the hikes that require the 10-4 hanging. That's mainly in Yellowstone National Park. And of course, water filters if you have the need. But again, it's our goal to take good care of you there once you're out in the woods. After that, here's the equipment guide right out of the leader's guide. You'll look over that and see if you have any questions. But again, recommended type of equipment to have. But for those groups who have gone out often, again, all this should look fairly familiar to you. So once Monday is done, have you all tucked in, would ask that you get up. Oh, sorry, before let's stick with the slides here. We talked a little bit about the bear canisters, hanging things 10-4. In camp, we also live in bear country. We have these bear boxes. You actually are looking at pictures here of them being certified in West Yellowstone. Have to have an hour of contact, see if any of these bears can get in. These bears are a lot bigger than many of the bears that you'll be encountering, but we hope that they'll be encountered from a distance because we keep a clean camp and make sure everything is stowed properly so that and stay in our groups to make sure we're always safe. But again, while you're in camp, you want to make sure that everything is stored properly in the vehicles or in these bear boxes. And of course, out on the trail, you'll do it right as well. As you can see, there is a website down here below that will get you to the bear information, talks about bear spray, talks about, again, proper bear storage. And there is also a video that you want everyone to watch a couple weeks before you come. So all the information about bear and bear safety is fresh in everyone's mind. So again, make sure that we're keeping ourselves safe from the bears, as well as all the other wildlife that will be out there in the woods that we'll be sharing with. We, of course, I'm going to turn the time now over to Leif. We have so many wonderful destinations to end up going to. You can watch them all, and I hope you will. But if you're interested in just fast forwarding to yours, of course, that's an option that you have as well. Leif will go over the 3 different hike destinations that our high adventure groups have opportunities to go on.
Thanks, Jody. As Jody was mentioning on Monday night, when you've arrived in camp and you're with your group and your guide, that's when we'll make some of the final travel plans and for getting you out to your expedition on Tuesday. All of the hikes that we do, all the treks require a drive time of about 2 to 3 hours from the camp to get to the trailheads. And most of that's on dirt roads, which is why the travel time can be so long. You'll need to provide transportation to get to those trailheads for your group and also for your guide. And sometimes there are groups that are made up of more than one troop, so you can talk there. But if you know that your troop is taking all the spaces for that trek, then to just make sure that you have sufficient transportation. We have a commercial use authorization with Yellowstone National Park and Grand Teton National Park. Our CUA in both parks is for hiking only. It does not allow for driving or parking inside of either park of Yellowstone or Grand Teton National Park. So for what that means in terms of how we operate is that we do not drive in either park as part of our camp operation, and that would include when you are driving a vehicle as part of one of our treks. And that's an agreement which is renewed every year, and one that we feel lucky to have because the parks only give a limited number of commercial use authorizations, and we're lucky as Crossroads of the West Council to hold one of those, and at Camp Loll to be able to operate in the parks. And so we just need to respect the requirements of that commercial use authorization. And it does mean that sometimes we end up doing things as part of Camp Loll that are not required of other users, but it is required of us because of our agreements that we have with those entities. We're going to start with our Beckler hike in Yellowstone National Park. And I have some mix of videos and maps in each of these places, and photographs showing some of these areas. So Beckler is known for its waterfalls. It's what's known as the Cascade Corner of Yellowstone, and for its hot springs. And we mentioned Mr. Bubbly in this video, and that is the picture of Mr. Bubbly right down there on the lower left side of this screen right now. These are the rivers, Beckler River, Boundary Creek. You'll cross some of these rivers. Those of you that are anglers or interested in fishing, Beckler is our one trek that does offer opportunities for fishing, and I'll mention that in a little bit more detail in just a moment. This is Denanda Falls, which will be one of your destinations. Hot springs located there at the base of Denanda Falls, where you can swim and soak and enjoy that. This is an aerial view of Beckler Meadows, which is an area that you hike through, a great area for viewing wildlife, as well as learning about plants, wildflowers, and just seeing a different part of the country. Here's a view along the Beckler River along the edge of the meadow. With the rivers, you have opportunities to cross the rivers. So when you go to Beckler, you need to make sure to be prepared to cross. And with the amount of water features that are there, we do ask all groups going to Beckler to take their swim check when they come to Camp Loll on Monday. And that way you have fulfilled that scout requirement of the Safe Swim Defense Plan. And when you cross the rivers, you'll see, like Jacob is demonstrating here, you'll undo the buckles on your packs and make sure to cross in a safe area with a buddy. You'll get lots of training in that, and you'll have lots of experience to do that.
Make sure you
The
bring
river,
sporting
go ahead.
shoes.
Oh yeah, and you'll want to have water shoes, sandals, or shoes that you can cross the rivers in. Thanks, Jody.
Mhm.
The fishing regulations inside Yellowstone National Park, if you are over 16, you need to have a valid Yellowstone fishing permit. If you are under 16, you need to be with someone who has a valid Yellowstone fishing permit. And there's a website that gives all information about fishing regulations. And this is the most recent cost there. So for a 3-day permit or 7-day permit, most of the fishing you would do would be on the day that you would be camped nearest to Beckler River. And so you can look at your itinerary and then plan on that. The itineraries are subject to change up until the point when we pick them up on Monday, and that changes happen to itineraries because of occasional campsite closures due to unsafe conditions. And so we just need to keep that in mind, that while we have I'm going to go over the places that we will be camping, you'll see that there's some variation in that. In every campsite that we use, there are bear poles located there to help finding safe places to store your food. And those are located in the core of camp. And then you'll be able to find places for tents beyond that. There are pit toilets as well in all the campsites. And so that's an advantage of being in Beckler. What I'm going to show right now is that there is a video showing how we get to Beckler from Camp Loll, the southwest corner of Yellowstone National Park, along the boundary with the Caribou-Targhee National Forest. Camp Loll is located right here, and this is the dirt road that leads to Ashton. To get to Beckler Ranger Station, you follow the dirt road back towards Ashton until you reach the Cave Falls cutoff road. And then that will lead you into towards Cave Falls. And Beckler Ranger Station is located just off of the Cave Falls road here. Here's the ranger station. The southwest corner of Yellowstone. Okay, and then when you get to the ranger station at Beckler Ranger Station, along with picking up, well, you'll have a permit with you, but you'll need to stop in at the ranger station, and anyone that is over 16 years old, 16 or older, will need to pay the park entrance fee, unless you have a park's annual pass, and you can use that for entrance. And this is a requirement of Yellowstone for anyone that's entering the park on foot. And so just be prepared for anyone that's 16 or older to pay the $20 entrance fee when you arrive at the ranger station. Video is showing the location around Beckler Ranger Station and where some of the hike destinations would be. From Camp Loll, you'll travel into the Beckler Ranger Station to pick up permits and receive orientation. We use the parking area that's just right here before entering the park boundary, before entering the park. There's a gravel pit here, and this small road takes us off, and we can park here before we enter into the Yellowstone National Park. The road into Beckler Ranger Station there, we can follow that road in, and here we can pick up our permits and begin our hike. As we get ready to hike into Beckler, on the first day, you would cross over to the area known as Beckler Meadows, and we would be coming near to this campsite, the Lower Boundary Creek 9B1. That's where the footbridge is that takes you across Boundary Creek. And then the trail continues up through the meadow over towards the Beckler Ford at 9B2. We ford the river here, and this is one of the deeper fords that you would be doing as part of the hike. Depending on the weather in each year and when the snowmelt is, some of the upper fords can also be quite deep as well. From there, 9B2, the trail cuts across to Ouzo Falls, what's known as 9B4. Many of our groups get to camp here at 9B4. And then we also use campsites along this area between Colonnade Falls and the lower ford, 9B5 and 9B6. And it really just depends on what's available to us, which campsites we get to use. But you'll have two campsites that are near the lower part of Beckler Canyon. And that gives you an opportunity to move your camp a short distance and then have a day available to do a hike up Beckler Canyon. The day hike up Beckler Canyon follows the river up to the Ferris Fork area here. And then this area is known as the Three Rivers Junction. And one of the forks of this river has Mr. Bubbly in it, which is a place where we like to go and swim. It's a pool where the hot spring is in the middle of the river, and so as you go and get into the river and swim in the hot spring, that's pretty exciting. And this whole area around Ferris Fork is known for its hot springs and pools that you would see around that area. After you leave Beckler Canyon, you would hike across this area, coming over to the area of Denanda Falls. And there's a campsite we like to use at Denanda Falls, 9A3. When that's not available, then we use 9A2, which is down here near the Upper Boundary Creek campsite. And Denanda Falls also has hot springs at the bottom of the waterfall. And from there, you would hike back to the along the Boundary Creek and back to Beckler Ranger Station, which is going to be right down here in this area. So that's the 3 days. There are times where we do that in the reverse order, starting at Denanda and then ending up at coming out the other side. From Beckler Station, it's the walk back down the road to where the vehicles are parked here at the gravel pit. Okay, so that's an explanation showing you the area around Beckler. You can see on this slide the campsites that I mentioned are highlighted and listed here. So those would be for the 3 nights. Then you can look at this map or other maps, but that will give you the reference points. Our next hike is what we call the Jedediah Smith Wilderness Trek. And this one takes place inside the Caribou Targhee National Forest in the what's known as the Jedediah Smith Wilderness, which is on the west side of the Teton Range. So this is looking from near the town of Teutonia, looking up into the area where this hike actually takes place. And so all along through these foothills and through these mountain slopes that are on the west side of the Tetons. This video will show us the area from in relation to other surrounding points. Of the Jedediah Smith Wilderness Trek. So we're going to start zooming in to this area of Grand Teton National Park. And as we get closer and closer, you'll see the area of Little's Peak. That's over here. This is the area, so it's to the west of Moran and Cascade Canyon. The trailhead begins down here in North Lake Creek, follows the Tin Cup Creek Trail up to this area below Little's Peak, Granite Basin. And then you can, from Granite Basin, have access to hike to Little's Peak. You can also crossing over, when you cross over into this area of Green Mountain Lakes, there are lookouts along this ridgeline that give you views down into these canyons, Cascade Canyon, and this canyon that's to the west of Moran. You can see into that area. You camp 1 night or 2 nights at Granite Basin Lakes and 1 or 2 nights here in Green Mountain Lakes. Because it's in the wilderness, you have the freedom to camp in any of those places that you'd want to be in. And you can set up camp and move camp as you like. It's all wilderness camping. View. So to get to North Lake Creek Trailhead from Camp Loll, it's about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive. And you would follow the dirt road back towards Ashton. And before you reach Ashton, though, there's a turnoff that you would take that takes you towards the town of Felt. And then from Teutonia, you head east up into North Lake Creek. if you're just using the GPS to guide you, there's a turnoff that will tell you to turn off at a place called Jackass Meadows, which is on the dirt road leading back towards camp. Avoid that turn. That's the one I've marked here with the red um, circle with a cross, so that you'll stay on that main dirt road until you get back towards the town of Squirrel. This next video is a actual video showing the where the trail is. Show the trail route starting from North Lake Creek trailhead here in the canyon. This is where the trailhead drops off, and you hike this Tin Cup Creek Trail starting at about 7,000 feet at the trailhead. The Tin Cup Creek Trail will bring you up this mountainside, and you'll follow along this creek, continuing up this creek until you come around the point of this ridge line right here, and then you'll be cutting across into this area, which is known as the Granite Basin Lakes. And that's the area that's behind Little's Peak. The trail continues up around above this bench that's between the Granite Basin Lakes and these lakes here, known as the Green Mountain Lakes. There's a loop that goes around that area. You can take either route. We follow this route to the east and to the north, and there's camping near all these lakes. And this is a great place to play and have adventures. Most of our troops will spend 2 nights in this area of the Green Mountain Lakes, and spending the day in between exploring and playing in the lakes and enjoying themselves in the wilderness. After leaving that area, you'll follow the trail back down, following these switchbacks back down until you meet up with that trail you started on the first day, and come back to the trailhead here where you'll be parked at North Lake Creek. So this also is an overview of that route with some of the main points listed there. These are some views of that. So this is a view from that lookout point that's between the Granite Basin and the Green Lakes area. And so you can look out on this, this is looking towards the east from that, which is where Mount Moran is, and Maidenform Peak and some of those things that you saw there. And I think that lake is Mink Lake that's visible in that area. These are views from the trail and some things that you would see. There's Green Mountain, and that's just on that area near where the Green Mountain Lakes are. Here's another view of that Green Mountain area. So in the wilderness, because there are no designated campsites, you can camp at any place that you want. You do move camp each night, and so that gives you a chance to explore different areas and see different things. But one of the things about the Jedi Smith Wilderness hike is that it has less specific destination, where it doesn't say that you need to camp right here at this place at this night. Because it's in the wilderness, you have the freedom to make those decisions as you explore and as you discover and find those things. This is a view looking out from the Tin Cup Creek Trail, looking out towards the Grand Teton, the Middle South Teton, the Cathedral Group. So that gives you an idea of where you're at in location to that area of the Teton Range. To set up camp in the wilderness, you'll need bear vaults, and we'll provide bear vaults for you to store and carry all of your food. So make sure there's room for that, that you've figured that room. And each group, in each partnership, two pair of two hikers will carry a bear vault, and then we'll also carry stoves and other equipment. So the food is divided up in a buddy pair, and that's the same for all of our hikes. And I'll review that again in just a minute too. On our third hike is the Teton Crest Trail in Grand Teton National Park, with camping in Jedi Smith Wilderness Area. As I mentioned before, because of our agreement with Grand Teton National Park, we will not use the road that goes through Grand Teton National Park. Instead, we'll need to use this route that travels from Camp Loll through Teutonia, Driggs, and through the Tin Cup Pass over to Jackson and to Teton Village. And so just plan on having that be your route to get to the Teton Crest. The Teton Crest hike begins at Teton Village, where you'll start on this tram. The tram will take you up from the base of the Teton Range up to the higher elevation there on the top. You can purchase your tram tickets through the Camp Law website. The cost of the tram ticket will be added to your camp fee. And the reason we're doing it this way is because we can get an educational discount to use the tram, but we have to purchase 30 or more tickets at one time, which means we need to buy all the tickets for the season at the same time in order to get the discount that we want to be able to pass along to you. So just plan for that before you come to camp to be able to purchase tickets for the tram from the top of the tram over to Fox Creek Pass, which is the first campsite. It's about 7 miles, and Google Maps provides hiking distances for the Teton Crest. It didn't provide the same distances for Beckler and Jedi Smith, but you'll be able to see those here on the Teton Crest. First day is hiking over to Fox Creek Pass, where you'll camp. This is a view of some of the things that you'll see. This is Marion Lake, which you'll pass along the trail there. This map is showing all of the Teton Crest Trail from the north to south, and the blue square is highlighting the area of the trail that we'll be hiking on, which is the southern part and the central part of the Teton Crest Trail. And you can study that in more detail if you'd like. Here's some of the things that you'll see as you leave Fox Creek Pass, which is shown in the top right-hand corner. One of the things about Teton Crest in the middle of summer is that you'll see lots of wildflowers along with these mountain views. The lower picture here is of the Death Canyon Shelf, which you'll hike across on your way to Alaska Basin, which is shown here in the top left-hand corner of this page. From Fox Creek Pass to Alaska Basin is about 6 miles. Hike across the Death Canyon Shelf. Once you reach Alaska Basin, you can set up camp. Alaska Basin is in the wilderness, and so you have the freedom to set up camp in any part of Alaska Basin that you choose. From Alaska Basin, there are a couple of exciting day hike options that you can do. You can hike up to Static Peak Divide, which is the highest point on the either number 1 or number 2 on the Teton Crest Trail. And you can look out over those views. If you would like to hike a little bit further on beyond the divide, you can actually hike to the top of Static Peak and be able to summit one of the peaks in the Teton Range. then you can access that from Alaska Basin. Also from Alaska Basin, you can access Hurricane Pass, which you can see this group of staffers standing here with the Grand Teton directly behind us. That's at the top of Hurricane Pass. Near Hurricane Pass, there's also a glacier, Schoolroom Glacier, which you could explore around that area if you chose to, and other places that you could see from Alaska Basin. On the third day, you could hike from Alaska Basin back to Fox Creek Pass. And this is showing a distance from Sunset Lake, which is one of the camping areas that we often camp in at Alaska Basin. And you could camp at Fox Creek Pass on your way back to the tram. You can take the tram back down to Teton Village. And that's our one option. There's an alternative option for day 3 and day 4. And that would be to spend a second night in Alaska Basin and then hike back from Alaska Basin to Teton Village. This is mostly downhill, but a distance between about 14 to 15 miles in that day. The reason why some people might choose this route would be that it's more of a loop rather than an out and back trail. And our high adventure directors suggested this as an option that some troops might want to consider. And we'll leave it up to you and your group to decide, and your guide to decide what option you think would be best. But this would just give you an extra night in Alaska Basin and a longer hike to get back on the 4th day to Teton Village. Jody, I'm going to give you time back to you to finish up on our last slide. So thanks for giving me so much time.
No, appreciate you, Leif, so much. And again, you can see the many exciting adventures that you have to await you there. As we get ready to kind of finalize our conversation with you here, I want to remind you of the option that you have in the event you have individuals that have dietary restrictions or allergies. Please make sure that you end up following the link to let us know. The sooner the better on those allergies and dietary restrictions, so that we might prepare ourselves as you're coming. Again, we want to keep everyone safe, make sure that we're aware of the things that we need to make sure that we can provide you the meals and the calories, but do it in a way that we won't get anyone sick there. I just remind you of a couple things besides that. As we're talking about websites, make sure, again, you click on that one if you have individuals that have allergies, but also remember to watch the bear training safety video that's located there on the Crossroads of the West webpage. I'd remind all groups that communication while you're out on the trail will be provided. And on some of these hikes, there is limited cell phone service in certain spots. In the event that there was an emergency on some of these hikes, we do have our guides carry radios to make daily contact with us at camp. Just want to remind you about the idea that, keeping you safe. And that's one of the advantages of going with us and having a guide. They know where these contacts can end up being made. We're very excited to serve you and your youth groups. What a beautiful way, as we in the scouting program come to know and understand our God. What a great place to come to know and understand your God than staying a week in a place that He made. And these will be activities that they'll talk about for years to come. Something they all did together in these beautiful areas that in Yellowstone National Park and Grand Teton National Park and in the Jedediah Smith Wilderness area. Again, if you have any questions, things that pop up along the way, please don't hesitate to reach out. Anything that we missed, Leif, that bears that need of address?
No, thanks, Jody. I think this has been informative, and I hope that you'll reach out to us if you have additional questions. As Jody said, we look forward to having an unforgettable adventure with you this summer. Thank you for choosing Campbell as a way to have that experience.
We'll see you soon. Won't be that long.